This is like Daenerys dunking on everybody. Showing up late's a power move. Putin does it all the time.
Oh, is that right?
hmm It's like 4 hours late.
Welcome back to Former Feds and Friends, where former government employees react to sci-fi, fantasy, animated films, and all things nerdy, wonky, and awesome. I am Madeline Valturo, and I'm a former stabilization advisor with the US government. And today we are once again diving into the world of Westeros, but we're doing it a bit differently. Instead of commenting on the whole show, we're going to do a deep dive into one scene, specifically a scene depicting a ceasefire negotiation. And to do that, of course, we need to consult a negotiations expert. So I have joining me today my former colleague, Tyler Thompson. Tyler is a negotiations expert with nearly 2 decades of experience driving complex agreements, peace processes, ceasefires, crisis diplomacy in more than 20 countries. Tyler and I worked together at the State Department, where he spearheaded the Negotiations Support Unit, which advised secretaries of state, ambassadors, and foreign heads of state on high-stakes multi-party negotiations. He is now the co-founder and chief negotiations officer at Expeditionary, pioneering the integration of artificial intelligence and other technologies with proven negotiation strategies in high stakes environments. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you walk us through this scene in Game of Thrones. We'll be watching the ceasefire negotiations between Cersei, Jon Snow, and Daenerys in the season 7 final episode, The Dragon and the Wolf.
Game of Thrones is such an excellent sort of national security analog in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different themes there, but then also politics and geopolitics. It really captures all of those dynamics very well. It's funny, I didn't even, of course, what happens is a ceasefire negotiation, right? It is what we're going to be talking about today is a ceasefire, but I didn't even look at it in the lens of a ceasefire and more of just looked at it in the lens of a multi-party negotiation. And there's a lot of things that the episode captures really well, right? So first is about, okay, there's many stakeholders. Have we mapped them? Do we understand like who is at the table and then who is behind the people at the table? And with that comes understanding all of their interests. What are they afraid of? What's the difference between what they say and what they truly believe and what's really driving them? All of those elements are really important for a negotiation.
I'm really excited to get to jump in, and so I'm going to have us do just that. I feel like her armies could not be any different. Her like stoic, unsullied,
Exactly.
and her wild horse riding.
This is all set up and positioning, literal saber rattling, right? So you're trying to show your strength. You're trying to show your leverage at the table by showing up with your whole crew and posses. Here you have the, armadas, armies, Calgary, all of it together is a hugely important thing, especially in a ceasefire negotiation where a lot of your leverage comes from the battlefield. There's a really famous negotiation expert named Jim Sebenius at the Harvard program on negotiations. He has written whole books about this idea of setup. Essentially, the most important things in a negotiation is what happens when you're not at the table. Like before you get there, your prep, how you're positioning yourself. If you look at the modern era, right, with our Strait of Hormuz, with our Iran stuff, I mean, you have all of this equipment and personnel being positioned nearby, very clearly signaling leverage and attempting to push the Iranians or whoever into a certain position. When ceasefire negotiations are planned or scheduled, usually you see a very steep and sharp uptick in battlefield events and violence right before
Oh,
the
interesting.
negotiation. Yeah. So it does still happen. If it's a negotiation about territory, like the two sides will try to lock in or create on the battlefield as much of what they're trying to get in the negotiation. But
Sure.
in here, this is just a pure intimidation move.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about them choosing the dragon pit as the place to negotiate.
Yeah, okay. So the choice of venue is always a hugely important thing in a negotiation. It's a power move in and of itself, especially if it's on one of the players' turfs. It's actually extremely rare for that to happen. If you're gonna pick something that's like historically significant, you want that to have meaning. The legacy here, I don't know how intentional Cersei is thinking or is thinking about the third and fourth order narrative impacts of this as a choice of a place, right? But it's a callback, right, to a different time when the Targaryens were ascendant, but it's also kind of a callback to the fall of their empire and things like that. I think it works both ways, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's Cersei bragging about like I have this turf now and your ancestors' reign were it didn't work out for them, that can be easily refuted by
Yeah.
Daenerys being like, well, here I am. We're back
Yeah.
to round two. Usually there's some kind of messaging that's just trying to be done with the hosts when it comes to venue. And that's why there's a lot of effort to create neutrality in venue or hold it in
Yeah.
a place that shows leverage. There it is. This is like Daenerys dunking on everybody. So this is all set up, right? So this is a Sebenius setup move, like the idea, okay, everyone's showing up with their armies, fine. Daenerys knows that it's a real trump card to show up on dragons, and everybody else shows up with their armies. That's significant. Daenerys has an ascendant power thing that occurs in the geopolitical world as well, where if you have like a superpower, a growing superpower, an emerging superpower, so like think China a decade or two or three ago, maybe Iran at different points, or Turkey in its own way. When you have an actor that was previously viewed in one way and is now demanding on the world stage to be viewed another, Daenerys really captures a lot of that dynamic in her character and the arc in this series, and you can see all these kind of old guard leaders responding to her in different ways throughout the series, but also in this scene.
But like later, when Cersei betrays the negotiations, she cites the fact that Daenerys only came with two dragons as demonstration. Like it's now a weakness that she's like, clearly one of the dragons has been injured, if not killed. And Jaime says, "Oh no, what if they're just guarding the fleet?" And she's like, "No, she brought everything she had to this negotiation, and she only brought two dragons, which means she only now has two dragons." So like her attempt to show force actually undermined her position.
There's a theme in negotiation, an approach to negotiation called intelligence gathering negotiation. So sometimes parties will enter into negotiation without actually ever intending to reach an agreement or to make any sorts of concessions. They're just trying to accumulate as much information as they can about the other side. There's no reason why Daenerys would reveal that intelligence unless she felt that she had to serve this leverage purpose in a negotiation. So the vulnerability that comes with being in a negotiation allows the other side really to glean some intelligence that they might not have previously. So that's a key theme. That's it.
We've been here for some time. My apologies.
Showing up late's a power move.
Yeah.
Putin does it all the time.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm. It's like 4 hours late.
I have your sister. If you don't submit to me here now, I'll kill her.
Hilarious. Yeah, so this is all posturing.
I think we ought to begin with larger concerns.
Why are you talking? You're the smallest concern here.
Legitimacy killing.
Do you remember, we are a group of people who do not like one another. We have suffered at each other's hands. We have lost people we love at each other's hands. If all we wanted was more of the same, there would be no need for this gathering. We are entirely capable of waging war against each other without meeting face to face.
It doesn't seem like the most hopeful note to start on, to be like, we're good at killing each other. But I imagine he's doing something there, right? What's he doing to set the scene?
So it's really, this is a common thing when it comes to these types of negotiations, like common enemy negotiations or ceasefire negotiations that are not intended to set the stage for a broader peace. They're just intended to do something else, whether it's a humanitarian pause or a common enemy or whatever, it's important to lay bare what we're not going to do, right? And what we're not going to do is try for lasting peace. Like that's not what this is about. The thing that I picked up on though is that whoever speaks first, whoever like is driving the negotiation, let's say has a lot of power. That's why that's usually left to a third party. There are no third parties here. I think the reason why Tyrion brings it upon himself to speak is because he has the best relationship with everybody, but everybody also knows him as kind of like a blowhard or know-it-all, and that's like not nobody wants to hear that guy talk first. So that's so there's a power play happening. He's trying to do a power play. Obviously, the others are too.
I guess because Tyrion called for the negotiation that he feels the need to kind of maybe step up, but
it's more realistic though to real life now, because today you actually get fewer and fewer like neutral mediators, right? Everybody has some sort of skin in the game. And so Tyrion doesn't deny that. He's kind of laying bare what his biases are.
The same thing is coming for all of us. A general you can't negotiate with, an army that doesn't leave corpses behind on the battlefield. Lord Tyrion tells me 1 million people live in this city. They're about to become 1 million more soldiers in the army of the dead.
I imagine for most of them it would be an improvement.
Cersei's the worst.
If my brother Jaime has informed me correctly, you're asking me for a truce.
Yes, that's all.
That's all. Pull back my armies and stand down while you go on your monster hunt. Or while you solidify and expand your position. Hard for me to know which it is, with my armies pulled back. Until you return and march on my capital with 4 times the men.
Your capital will be safe until the northern threat is dealt with. You have my word.
The word of a would-be usurper.
There is no conversation that will erase the last 50 years. We have something to show you.
So interesting. They're listening. We're at a stalemate in negotiations. We have been for some time. That is why we are at war. And they're basically saying we have something that will change that.
This is a core intelligence shift, a core strategic shift for the parties. I thought it was interesting. Cersei did a negotiation tactic, which is like kind of just like putting straight out there, like, here's why I'm constrained. Like, I can't agree to a truce because you're going to do X, Y, and Z. She didn't say it in a nice way, but that is a very important thing to put forth in negotiations. Like, this is why I can't give you what you want. The game changer here. So this is the proof, right? There's lack of trust. So we're showing proof. We're sharing intelligence to show the threat real. This is something that's happened in different times in history, COVID, or with different pandemics, with nuclear weapons and things like that. In the purpose of a negotiation, this is all about what's called BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement, right? Everyone here assumes that they don't have to reach an agreement because they can achieve what they want to without the help of the others. What revealing this white does is it changes everybody's alternatives. Now, if they don't band together, they have to deal with this separately, which is a much worse alternative than what they thought before revealing this. The thing about dropping it at the actual negotiation is you get to see everybody's reaction in real time. Nobody has the opportunity to like have their emotional reaction and then be strategic. We get to see them have their emotional reaction in front of us, which is interesting. It's rare to be able to get to do that in a negotiation, but you get a lot of intel when you can.
We can destroy them by burning them.
So Cersei's shaken.
Yeah.
And we can destroy them with dragonglass.
So, he's showing experience.
Right.
So the Night's Watch, these folks have experience fighting them. So he gets a little bit of leverage points by having this knowledge and showing some battlefield prowess against them. Cersei's not the only one to be convinced, but clearly she's who everyone's paying attention to because she's the most important.
Yeah.
The Great War. And it is here. How many?
100,000 at least.
Great piece of acting there. So Jaime freaked out about the number. Like, he can't hide his reaction there. And that immediately cuts Cersei's credibility or her leverage down just by the fact that everyone saw him have a little freak out.
I'm taking the Iron Fleet back to the Iron Islands.
What are you talking about?
I've been around the world. I've seen everything.
There's a BATNA invocation here. So he's like, fuck it, I don't need to fight. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's my language. He's like, I don't need to fight. I'm going to invoke my alternatives. I live on an island. They can't
I have an
swim.
alternative that you don't have. And this is also interesting too, where you have to know the sub parties, right? You have to know where people might fracture who seem to be on the same side.
This part's important too because he is revealing that Daenerys has the same BATNA if she wants it. She does Westeros. She could go back home, wait for this to happen, and take over Westeros. The
Yeah.
reason why that's less important to her is because she wants to rule over Westeros as it is today, not like a zombie Westeros, right?
Right.
The crown accepts your truce. Until the dead are defeated, they are the true enemy.
I do remember when this happened being like, well, that was an easy negotiation. But when she's like, I accept your truce, I was like, damn. Like that was some fast capitulation for Cersei Lannister.
Well, okay, so there's a couple of ways to read Cersei here. So she is either being super calculating and she's lying right now in her heart, and she's lying later in her heart, or she is legitimately afraid right now and she hasn't figured out her scheme yet. And then
she
later
doesn't have a strategy.
Right.
In return, the king in the north will extend this truce. He will remain in the north where he belongs. He will not take up arms against the Lannisters. He will not choose sides.
Just the king in the north? Not me.
I would never ask it of you. You would never agree to it, and if you did, I would trust you even less than I do now.
Cersei's really good at explaining why she's doing what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important in a negotiation.
I am true to my word. That is why I cannot give you what you ask. I cannot serve two queens. And I've already pledged myself to Queen Daenerys of House Targaryen.
Cersei is doing something here by asking this. One, I think she's trying to see who's a liar and who isn't. Okay, Jon Snow is not a liar. He cannot tell a lie. If he had said, fine, yeah, sure, whatever, neutrality, she would likely know that that wasn't genuine. Okay, so that's something for her. If you're like a really skilled negotiator and you have an impossible ask like this, you hide it inside reasonable sounding terms, right? And she's kind of done that here. The other thing is, so John's honesty is a intelligence point for everybody else in the negotiation, right? Cersei is going to piss her off, but everybody else, they're like, oh, wow, this guy, he's kind of not like us. Like we're all conniving and he is doing something short-term stupid that is building long-term credibility.
It's funny because he's the one who's so adamant that this is the most urgent thing. And yet he is thinking longer term. Yeah, he just can't tell a lie.
I honestly, I don't think that Jon Snow is very strategic in this type of way, in the Game of Thrones way.
Yeah.
He is strategic in that, okay, there's an existential threat. Everything we do should be to stop that threat. But I also don't lie. So therefore, here I am not going to lie, right? I don't think he's super strategic. I think he's just like meant to be lovable.
Then there is nothing left to discuss. The dead will come north first. Enjoy dealing with them. We will deal with whatever is left of you.
The dead will come. So the dead will come for you first. That is a sequencing thing that she knows. She still has leverage, even in the BATNA. They kill her adversaries first, right? It's very short term, but it's important that she said that. The other thing here is the strategic value of a walkout, right? If you walk out of a negotiation with no leverage, it's generally stupid. They're like, okay, well, that person's gone. Cersei knows that already everybody is looking at Cersei, right? They're looking to see what she does. She feels weak in this moment because she has this new intelligence, and she was just told by Jon Snow that she's even more weak because he won't pledge neutrality. But she still knows that she has quite a lot of leverage, and so her walkout makes it so now everyone has to beg her to come back to the table, right? And that is like everyone's trying to get her to come out, which means potentially incentives and etc. She already has no credibility. I don't know if she thinks about her credibility or not, but this is a strategic walkout. I don't like walkouts, but she's leveraging it.
But when enough people make false promises, words stop meaning anything, then there are no more answers, only better and better lies. And lies won't help us in this fight.
That is indeed a problem. The more immediate problem is that we're fucked.
Any ideas as to how we might change that state of affairs?
Everyone stays here, and I go and talk to my sister.
I did this. I should go.
She'll definitely murder you. I go see my sister alone. Or we all go home.
Yeah.
We're right back where we started.
So he's the only back channel guy. I mean, he's a very reliable back channel person here. He has good, really obviously familial relationships with Cersei. Back channels, they unlock movement when the public talks freeze, but the problem is they concentrate all the risk on a single person, and that right now is Tyrion.
So you bring her here with her pet northerner whom you've convinced to bow down before
I
her.
didn't know
and now
about
you've
that.
got them both working towards the same goal. The goal you've worked towards your entire life.
Cersei, I didn't
The
know.
destruction of this family.
I am the one preventing that from happening. Daenerys didn't want to debate and negotiate. She didn't want to bring you words. She wanted to bring you fire and blood until I advised her otherwise. I don't want to destroy our family. I never have.
It's a risk sending him as the envoy because he is family, right? So like his judgment might be clouded by their relationship, but
And also, I don't know that what we need right now is Cersei's emotions heightened, which is what's going to happen when you put him in front of her. Like, he's her brother. He's also like a huge antagonist in her life.
yeah, true. But who else would have gone, right? And
Yeah.
could get through to her.
Yeah, I thought that was funny when Snow was like, when Jon Snow was like, "I'll go." I was like, "In what world is that a good idea?"
He'll just go and be honest and she'll kind of run circles around him.
Yeah.
My armies will not stand down. I will not pull them back to the capital. I will march them north to fight alongside you in the Great War. The darkness is coming for us all. We will face it together. And when the Great War is over, perhaps you'll remember I chose to help. With no promises or assurances from any of you.
So she's trying to create a narrative, obviously, of that she's sacrificing the most and everybody else is benefiting from her and all this crap. But we also know that she is going to betray everybody. So when
Nothing
you
has
have
really changed for Cersei since when she walked out. So I would be inherently skeptical with this change of heart. Like, Tyrion, what did you say to her? And he probably would just thinks it's about the baby, because Tyrion kind of overinflates his own wit.
Yes, and this is something that mediators and envoys, a problem that they have all the time is their ego and they're overestimating their impact and importance, right? So essentially nothing happened. They had a little familial fight,
Right.
exchanged information. The only thing persuasive was that her brother came to apologize and appeal to her as a sister. And so that gave her enough cover to say, okay, and she's almost helping.
Right.
She's almost helping Tyrion's credibility more than, and he benefits from her, doing this temporarily. But then, of course, she's gonna just betray everybody. I mean, for me, the big takeaway from this is like understanding the interests of all the parties and not just the interests, but like the weird quirks and negotiation styles of all the parties before you come in, and knowing what's gonna land. Obviously, the decision to bring the white there was very important. There would be no truce without the proof of the intelligence. That there's this WMD that the White Walkers can use. And so that's the most important thing about this scene from a negotiation standpoint is that BATNA changes everybody's alternative. Like, okay, we all hate each other. If any of us achieves near-term geopolitical victory, it'll be washed away by this new threat.
How often do the parties involved in the negotiation know how to negotiate? Is that a weird thing to say? Like, have this type of training, and like, do you need to have this training in order to negotiate that way? Like, do people negotiate different ways if they don't have the training, or I don't know.
I mean, so parties are very varied, right? In how they negotiate. Jon Snow really likes to bring both credibility and evidence. Like, those are his things. We'll see it in other negotiations throughout Game of Thrones, right? Other folks use like leverage. Other folks use hidden alliances, right? So there's a bunch of different ways to do things. Some parties, especially in a conflict, they either are extremely emotional, like the things are so tied to identity that they can't take a step back and think about their negotiation strategy as untethered to their identity. So it's like, okay, conceding anything, even sitting and listening will be a betrayal to my identity. That's where people get into trouble and they go the emotional route. Others look at a negotiation like it's a movie, like it's Game of Thrones. Like, you can just have this big aha moment or do some brilliant rhetorical thing and move everybody. That is very rarely the case. What's really important is like what you do before the negotiation, how you're setting the leverage environment, how you are shaping how everyone else understands their alternatives, and how you're setting the stage for people to more easily accept what you want to see happen, right? And
Yeah.
most people don't do that. There's a lot of things that could have been done differently here. It probably would have made for worse TV. But there's a lot of coalition building, as we call it, that could have been done beforehand. And I think that is for all the players in the room. Everyone's looking to see what Cersei's thoughts are. But if it was more than just Jon, Tyrion, and Daenerys trying to convince Cersei, and you had more of the others in the room already on the same page, that could have changed the dynamic in a significant way.
In the end, it results in a change of policy. It's just not really, because it's fake, or it's
and it's the question is, would Cersei have ever agreed to this, right? Or is she so tied to her identity that like her broader strategic interests don't matter? Look, the United States is no stranger to receiving intelligence and refusing to accept it, right?
Yeah.
And so for her, it's like, okay, I have this intelligence, but that's inconvenient. The core thing, the reason why like this type of drama, whether negotiation, geopolitical, great power politics drama, whether in fantasy or fiction or real life, like the reason why it's really compelling as narrative is because there's like deep human themes here. The core basis of how and why humans negotiate the way they do is based in cognitive behavioral science, which is genetic. There are certain things within us, within the way our brains work, that are just human, right? And so what that means is that human nature is, I like to say, predictable in its negatives and universal in its positives, right? So you can, you know that people are going to be looking out for their own, like thinking about themselves in an in-group and everyone else is an out-group, and like this type of thinking, unless you change the game for them. But also you can appeal to common interests, right? You can appeal to family, you can appeal to mutual threats, these types of things. You can show your credibility, and that builds trust. Like these things are universal. It's hardwired in us to respond to them, both when you're watching a show, reading a book, or like actually across the table from somebody in a negotiation.
Tyler, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your expertise, and thanks to everyone for watching. A reminder that these conversations are off the cuff, so we bring years of experience to bear, but we are reacting in real time, and we can't guarantee that everything we say is fully accurate or that it applies the same way in every context. So if you have questions about what we discussed, please do leave them in the comments below. We love engaging with you that way. All our content is available for free. We don't put anything behind a paywall, but if you are in a place and would like to contribute to helping us offset some of the costs of hosting the channel, we do welcome contributions through our Ko-Fi account, which is linked in the description box below. And until next time, this is Former Feds and Friends. We used to work for government. We don't anymore, but we still work for you. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Yeah.